That's you. Okay, we are on. Welcome to the 330 Sports Show. I'm Justin Coffin. That's BJ Lisco. Joe Danyi is over here. Today is, what is today? June 24th, 2025. This has been about 3-4 weeks since I've done a show down here live. But we are going to do 2 this week. Today's show, as Joe's messing around and getting look at this. Is it working? Look at that. Beautiful. Today's show is going to be, that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's good. Today's show is going to be all around the sports world, but we're going to talk something. I prepped BJ a little bit for this. We're going to do 4th of July playlist. We're going to do a little draft, create a 4th of July playlist. We're also going to talk about what non-Americans think about Americans. And we're also going to talk about, obviously, sports, and that's what we're going to start with today. But if you look outside, it's about 95 degrees today. It is literally as hot as it gets in this area. But we're coming off of, a really crappy spring and winter, so we will take the hot. You're allowed to complain about one. You can complain about it being cold, or you can complain about it being hot, but you can't complain about it being both. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into some of these, things. But first of all, before we get into that, I want to talk about the next 2 shows coming up. So this weekend, I'm actually set to record. We're going to do a 50th anniversary breakdown of the 1975 film Jaws, which to me is the start of the American blockbuster. And it's, to me, one of my top 3 movies of all time. So we're going to go ahead and do a breakdown of that movie. And it's just a classic. If you haven't seen it in a while, go watch it. And then on Thursday, we have an absolute legend joining the show. And he has been the voice of college football for many, many years. He was the voice of the Masters for 40 years. Especially, you know him from that 16th hole. Mr. Vern Lundquist will be joining us on Thursday at 3:00. So look for that interview then. We're really much looking forward to that. And he actually he was in Happy Gilmore, the first one, and he's reprising his role in Happy Gilmore 2, which will be coming out next month on Netflix. So, BJ, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm not sure if Joe's popping back or not, but here's a trivia question I saw out there the other day. I just want to see. I'm going to put you on the spot. See if you can get any of these. So, trivia of the day. Can you name the 6 North American team names? So, like mascot names shared across all 4 major sports. It only has to be in 2 of the sports. So NHL, NBA, MLB. Any of those?
Oh, I got to think about this.
So this is a tough trivia question, especially putting you on the sport. So NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, and National Hockey League. There are 6 teams that are in at least 2 leagues that have the same mascot. Joe, if you feel like you have any, just shout
I'm
them
struggling
out.
for one.
Yeah, I am too. Like I keep thinking of them, and then I'm like, no, it's not.
Talk it through.
So give me some sports. Like give me a hint.
No, it's in any of the major 4 sports in North America.
Okay.
I will say
I'm trying to think of hockey first and then go from there, but
4 are in the NFL. 4 are in the NFL. 1 is basketball and hockey, and the other one is hockey and baseball.
Shared between, wait a minute, but the
So
same mascot in all 4?
No, it only has to be in 2. So the Cleveland Browns wouldn't be one of these because there's no other Browns in any other sports.
Yeah, the Panthers is one.
The Panthers is one. Correct. Carolina Panthers, and then the Florida Panthers, who just won the NHL Stanley Cup. Think of New York football.
Is there a Giants somewhere else?
San Francisco Giants and the New York Giants.
Oh, okay.
So that's 2.
Boom. Got it.
What's the other football team in New York?
The Jets, yeah.
And then the Winnipeg Jets
Mhm.
in the
I wouldn't
NHL.
have got that one.
A bird, the state bird of Ohio,
Cardinal,
the Cardinals,
baseball, and football.
and
Okay,
Arizona
got it.
Cardinals. And then the other two are the Texas Rangers and New York Rangers.
Okay.
And then the Sacramento Kings. And who's the other Kings?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles Kings, yes.
Dude,
So
he had to walk us
those are
through
the
every
six.
single
That was
one
a
of
those are it's tough when you
I
put
thought
you
it
on
was
the
all
spot,
four.
though.
There isn't a team there isn't a mascot shirt.
Not one that's all four.
All
though.
four, okay.
Yeah, not one that's all four. That's a tough one. So this one especially is not in any of the ones, but they did win the NBA title the other night, Game 7. Oklahoma City wins, and just they were the best team all year. I mean, I think you called it like 2 months ago. They're like, OKC is going to win this. Indiana went on a hell of a run, but obviously did not get it done.
So Isaac brought this up earlier. Do you think there should be an asterisk next to the Thunder, considering Halliburton went down in Game 7?
No. I mean, they were lucky enough to get to Game 7. Now, here's a question.
That's good news for the Cavs next year.
It's really good
out
news.
all next year.
It's really good news, especially Tatum's out too.
Mhm.
Here's a question though. If you are an Indiana Pacers fan going into Game 7, and I told you had the chance with Halliburton playing to win the title, but he's going to get hurt. But you still have a chance, not knowing the outcome. Or I tell you he's going to sit, but he's healthy all next year. So you know what I'm saying? Like he is going to miss the entire 2025-26 season. Maybe a slight run. So if you had the hindsight 2020, do you play?
Well, I mean, now that he snapped his Achilles, you probably don't.
All right.
But yeah, at the time, every player is going to play in that situation, no matter what.
The competitor
nobody's gonna sit out, and if he did, they would be, the backlash they would get would be insane.
100%. But I really, really feel bad for him. And the Pacers, unfortunate they beat the Cavs, but again, they had a hell of a run, and those three comebacks in each of the first 3 rounds too, and unbelievable. And actually in the first game of this series too. Well, this makes 7 champions in the last 7 seasons. Raptors in 19, Lakers in the bubble season 2020, Bucks, then the Warriors, then the Denver Nuggets, Boston Celtics, and the OKC Thunder. So 7 champions in 7 different years. Let's get that 8 with the Cleveland Cavaliers next year. We will see. During this, I always think this is weird. I want your opinion on this. So the NFL, you're not seeing NFL trades by teams eliminated out of the playoffs during the Super Bowl week. You might hear some rumblings and stuff like that of future things, but like Kevin Durant was traded the morning of Game 7 of the NBA Finals. I think that's just strange that they don't, I know there's a trade deadline, but let's wait until after the season has completed. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't understand why they allow that to happen on the day of the games. I mean, that's just bizarre to me. I don't understand why they don't. Why they don't just hold it off. I don't get what the deal is. What the big deal would be waiting another day?
Exactly. So yeah, but Kevin Durant now has run the gamut of the rainbow colors in the NBA. 5 different teams. So I'll give him a little credit there. He did get drafted by what was then the Seattle Supersonics, who are now the OKC Thunder, but obviously played. Not very well with the Suns, but he does do that, run the gamut there of the colors. Now, the Cavs were rumored to be in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. And the rumor was that Darius Garland was in one of those trades. So Darius Garland is probably the Cavs' biggest asset they want to trade or are willing to trade. I don't think they're going to trade Donovan Mitchell. I don't think they're going to trade Evan Mobley. Your next best player then up would be Darius Garland, who is a top 5 point guard in the league when healthy. He's been a 2-time All-Star. He's only 25 years old. But, he's injury prone. He's only 6'1". He's a smaller guard. there's rumors out there that maybe him or Allen get moved, but the Cavs are one of those second apron teams, so that it's going to be more difficult to make a trade. Do you think, and I think we touched on this in the past, but I want to just get your thoughts updated. Do you think the Cavs stand pat and go in kind of with the core four and maybe supplement some role players, or do you think one of those pieces get moved, like a Jared Allen or a Darius Garland?
I'd leave it the way it is, honestly. I mean, I don't I get it, I guess. I mean, they just have had some bad luck with injuries at the wrong times, really. But no, I mean, I don't think they were the best team in the regular season. Yeah, I would just I leave it as is. I don't know that like you blow up the team chemistry and all that for. I'm kind of glad they didn't get Durant. To me,
me too.
Durant's a drama queen to me. Like it's just he's constantly complaining. Wherever he's at, he's not happy.
Exactly.
It's just so I'm glad I didn't get Kevin Durant because that's just a headache I wouldn't want. No, I mean I think this team's gonna be fine. I think leave it as is.
And as you stated, well, first of all, like you said too, Durant, I think he scored like 27 points a game last year, but Phoenix stunk.
Yeah.
And he is just a locker room killer, like a vibe killer. Not a big fan of that. But as you mentioned earlier, the Cavs are the second best odds to win the NBA title next year. OKC, the defending champ, plus 220. The Cavs 7-1 odds, but that is the second best in the NBA to win the title, and just ahead of the New York Knicks. But you look, the Pacers are 14-1. Then the Celtics are 14-1. They've lost their 2 stars off of their team, and then really the next best team. So really, it's going to be the Cavs, Knicks, and Magic, probably the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference next year. So I'm not opposed to keeping it right here. So, all right. We did crown another champ, one of those teams that cross over, Carolina Panthers. To me, the Stanley Cup is the coolest trophy in sports, but it has been since 1994 since a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup. That's like, so hockey was invented in Canada, right? And the U.S. has a ton of the franchises, but that would be like, there's only the Toronto Raptors in the NBA. But if you put a team in Montreal, in Vancouver, in Quebec, all over Canada, that would be like the Canadian teams dominating the NBA. So that's kind of cool for Americans, a little like bragging rights there. I just thought that would be cool. All right, I'm gonna do a little news and notes segment before we get into our draft here, but this is gonna be a different random segment called Okay, this is crazy. So we're going to get into a bunch of random shit across the sports world, but also across like some other stuff. So let's start with, I thought this was just absolutely wild. So we already talked about Jason Tatum tore his ACL, Tyrese Halliburton, and I forgot to mention Damian Lillard. Here's the random thing that I saw across the internet. All 3 of those players wore the number 0. It's just weird coincidence, but 3 stars, 3 teams, all tore their Achilles and all happened to wear the number 0. So that is
that would have been a parlay that would have paid out quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, even just hitting one of those guys, right. But yeah, I mean, the Achilles has more lingering effects than the ACL. The ACL used to be the big one, but now the Achilles seems to be the bad one. Okay, got to be careful, especially some English majors out there. Steve Kerr last week, his son was hired as the newest member of the Warriors NBA coaching staff. Nicholas Kerr is joining the NBA team's coaching staff after spending the past 2 seasons as the head coach of the Santa Cruz Warriors in the G League. Steve Kerr's son, Nicholas, not Nick, joins the Warriors coaching staff. You got to be very, very, very careful pronouncing that name, especially if you go with the shortened version. So I just thought I would share that one out. Now, this to me is crazy. So Jerry Buss, former owner of the Los Angeles Lakers, bought the franchise, I believe it was back in the 70s, for $67.5 million. Pretty good. Back then, that's a hell of a lot of money, but today it's still a lot of money. But this sold last week. The Buss family agreed to sell the Los Angeles Lakers for $10 billion. And like, that's just like funny money to me. So what's your thoughts on like some of these franchises going for, I mean, I think about 3 or 4 months ago, the Boston Celtics sold for about $6 billion, but for $10 billion. I know this is the marquee franchise kind of the sport, but $10 billion. What do you think about that?
Well, it's kind of crazy, but I mean, you know, like if you can own a professional sports team, like no owners ever lose money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it never, like even as crazy as that is, for $10 billion, they'll still end up making money.
Yeah, right. It is like printing money when you're a franchise. But like, is there going to be a point where it maybe just comes to a head and it's like you're plateauing, where you're like maybe paying more for the asset than it's worth?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe, but I mean, it's because the prices of these things are just going to keep going up until that happens.
That's
so,
fair.
I mean, possibly at some point it could get to that point where it tops out, but it doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon.
Okay. All right, that's fair. All right, next. Okay, this is crazy. Shedeur Sanders. We're not going to get into much Brown stuff today, but Shedeur Sanders has been cited for 2 speeding tickets over the past, I believe it's month and a half. But some ML football put this out there. It said, should the Browns release Shedeur Sanders for going 101 miles per hour at midnight? He was sober. There was no. So I already put in there. The answer is hell no. But you got to slow it down. You got to be careful. He was going on 71. I don't know if it was north or south, but obviously a pretty busy part of the freeway there. On the other side of that, an Ohio State blogger, Kirk Barton, a former Ohio State player, was also going 101 miles an hour last week and actually killed a 24-year-old driving, and he was intoxicated. So just, I mean, in this age that we're living in, put the freaking booze away. Or if you're going to drink, Uber. If you're going to drink, Uber or Lyft or call a friend, call a family member. Don't be stupid. So the Shedeur Sanders thing, I can kind of understand. You know, like he's a 20-something-year-old kid that has a sports car. He, by all accounts, does not drink, does not do drugs or anything like that. So he was just being a kid, driving a sports car, driving fast. Is it stupid? Yes, it is. But you can kind of give him a pass on that. Now, if he does it again, then there's where some more consequences come in. But Kirk Barton, 40-year-old guy, has gotten in trouble before for doing this. Now, I mean, he's kind of throwing away his life now. You know, he's going to get charged with manslaughter, reckless driving, OVI, all that stuff. So the whole point of this is don't be stupid. Call a cab, call a friend, call somebody. So just wanted to point those 2 things out with those 2 different individuals. I saw this same site on Twitter, ML Football. They put out the NFL team's biggest rival. Is there anything you notice about that graphic, BJ, that is maybe popping that's pretty funny? So this is each team's biggest rival. So the Patriots, it's the Jets. The Dolphins, it's the Patriots.
Yeah, the Browns is themselves.
The Browns is the Browns. So I actually thought they nailed that really well. So every other team's like biggest rivals on there, but the Browns' biggest enemy sometimes, as we all know, if you're a Browns fan, is themselves. Now, here's an okay, this is crazy thing I also saw. The Madden NFL 26 beta team rankings came out. The Chiefs, we could all see the Chiefs up there, 92 overall ranking. Now, the 100 is kind of like, you know, where the team, you know, at peak can be. And this score at 75 is the Giants. They're the lowest. So on here, a couple things that I noticed too, where first of all, the Browns win total is 5.5 this season, over under, but they are right up there with the best teams in the NFL. In fact, they are above the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, 87 overall. Now, I know this is video games and stuff like that, but still, that usually gives you kind of like a picture of where the teams would be. So, any thoughts on those ratings there?
Aren't the ratings though more based on like if you have like like so LeBron's have Myles Garrett, right? He's
Right,
probably one of
right.
the top rated players
Sure.
in the game. Like, so if you have so many guys that are like super high rated, whatever, it's probably going to bring that
like
up.
an
you know what I mean?
aggregate of like Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett. You know, you throw your best players in there,
Right.
but maybe Jerry Jeudy, maybe Joel Bitonio. But like besides that, I don't know. Like you would think some of those other lower guys would bring it down, but I know what you're saying there. That makes sense. All right, saw this over the weekend too. Thought this was pretty interesting. According to his official biography, the first and only time Kim Jong-il, that's the father of Kim Jong-un, played golf, he shot 38 under par and had 11 holes in one. And this is on a real golf course, not a putt-putt course. BJ, I know you're a pretty good golfer. Your thoughts on that?
Golfers lie, man. And golfers who are dictators lie even bigger. So,
yeah. You know, there was no one in his foursome or outing that was like, Kim, maybe let's check your scorecard. Or he's like, what did you know?
Yeah, nobody's gonna call him on it.
No one's calling on that. Oh man, I thought that was great. So speaking of great golfers, I thought you would appreciate this stat. I saw this and I had to share it. So from 1997 to 2009, Tiger Woods had a cumulative score in majors, just the 4 majors, of minus 134. Phil Mickelson was the only player within 250 strokes, and he was at plus 99 over par. So that is what does that tell you right there about the dominance of Tiger Woods?
Well, that stat can't be right though, because there's no way Phil Mickelson was 99 over par
in the cumulative majors.
Well, I know, but
97 to 09.
even that though, that's I mean, the Tiger stat is insane because he was just he was out of his mind good. But
well, I'm gonna double check that Phil Mickelson.
But yeah, the Phil Mickelson stat, that can't be right because he wouldn't have been 100 over par in. Because Phil Mickelson was still pretty good back then.
He was,
if you put them all together. I mean, even if you miss cuts, whatever, like it's not like you're shooting that high. So
that's true.
He might have been the only one, but yeah, that one seems weird. But the Tiger number, man, he was just so dominant. Like I remember so many tournaments where it was him. He just like lapped the field.
Yeah.
Like there were a couple times he was like 18, 19 under, and the closest person to him was like 3 or 4 under. You know what I mean? So there were several like that where guys were just playing for second place. So.
No doubt. And I wanted to share that stat too, because then I'll check Phil Mickelson's on that again. But our guest on Thursday, Vern, has maybe the greatest call in all of golf with Tiger Woods. In your life, have you ever seen anything like that? Mm-hmm. Which we're going to talk to him plenty about that on Thursday.
We get the Jack Nicklaus call in '86 too. The yes sir,
yes,
right?
Sir.
That was him.
Yep. Yeah, that was. I think Jack was like 47. Maybe he
was
like right towards the end of his run.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say? 1986.
86. That was it.
And the Golden Bear with a unbelievable. I think he birdied like 7 of the last 9 holes.
He did really
ridiculous.
well on the back 9. Yeah, to win that tournament for sure.
Unbelievable stuff. Okay, now back to the random weird shit. Joe might be interested in, and this would be a good MLO Brothers topic here, I think too. But I saw this and shared it. But could you imagine? So first of all, a 22-year-old school employee, has been charged after allegedly sending nude photos to a 14-year-old boy over several months. Now, you look at her picture, she's a good-looking girl, but I retweeted this and said, could you imagine if it was a male 22-year-old employee and a female 14-year-old? And the comment section was wild, like, man, never had a teacher like this. And, and like, we all think that too, but do you think there's a double standard for this kind of stuff?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, sorry, that was about as easy as a question as it gets. But what's your opinion on this versus?
Well, yeah, like everybody, it's like that South Park episode where there's the whole episode.
Luckiest boy in America.
And they keep going to the cops. They're like, nice. Like every time they said. So yeah, that's what every guy. I mean, we're all pigs. We're all going to think that.
100%.
You're a 14-year-old boy, and you had a attractive teacher. None of my teachers ever looked that good.
No,
like
never. Okay, all right. So I'm going to bring. So BJ and I are going to do a draft now, and the reason I was like, you know what, the 4th of July is coming up. I put together a little list of what I think non-Americans think of Americans. And I took this from, I like aggregated from a few different sites, and I put together my own list. And here's some of the things non-Americans think about Americans. So they're loud. We love the flag. We get big portions, free refills. We have huge superstores. A lot of Americans are fat. We drink lots of coffee. I'm definitely guilty of that. We idolize colleges here. Expensive degrees, college sporting events. That's not a big deal in most countries. We own lots of guns. We have a military obsession, which is obviously very true right now. A lot of helicopter parenting, a lot of drive-thrus and fast foods, lots of traveling in America. A lot of people say America or shorten it when it's actually the United States of America. Joe, I want some of your opinions on some of this stuff too. Mega stores, as I mentioned, with the superstores, pharmacies, voting before you can drink. We're in a very big tipping culture, whereas a lot of people think tipping is insulting. Or evil. Red Solo cups. Are you drinking out of a red Solo cup?
Nope.
Okay. Well, BJ is. BJ is. So that goes right with the. That's not really a thing around the world besides here. Prescription drug commercials, only legal here and in one other country. Ridiculously high medical care, which is, sorry, that's spelled wrong. ChatGPT created that. And we are one of only 3 countries to use the imperial measurement system. We don't go by the metric system. The other 2 countries that use the imperial metrics measurement system are Myanmar and Liberia. So those are some things about America that I think some people, non-Americans, think about us. So
your camera's out, so you might as well stay on the.
Okay.
The thing.
All right. So that's kind of what non-Americans think about Americans. What say you guys to that list? Anything stick out to you, or anything not on that list? That maybe. So if you were a European or from Asia or from wherever in the world, what do you think of Americans?
I mean, yeah, those are all very accurate. We're very large. We eat a lot. we are very loud. All our I'm trying to think if there's an automobile one on there, like our cars, like the stuff that we're, the cars, the guns, all that sort of fascination. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So those are just some of the things, I thought maybe we put together that some foreigners maybe think of us. So while we're working on some technical difficulties behind the scenes, we are going to get started here in just a minute with our 4th of July playlist draft here. And we're just going to kind of talk through this. This might be right up your alley, but the 4th of July is about 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks away. So wherever you go, whether it's to a park to watch some fireworks, or maybe over a friend's house, or maybe you're hosting a party yourself, or you're at a bar or something, you're going to hear a lot of patriotic or America type music. So we're going to go ahead and, are we all right?
No, that camera is jacked up for whatever reason.
Well, we're a camera down, but we're going to work on this as we go. But we're going to do a draft here in a minute. And the draft is going to be a patriotic playlist. So I came up with 35 songs on my patriotic playlist. But we're going to do a draft and go back and forth with BJ here. BJ, as you know, is, or some of you probably don't know, is in a band called Turbo Lovers. He just performed at the Ribs and Rock Festival this past weekend at the Southern Park Mall. But they put on a hell of a show, and a lot of these bands, whether you like them or not, they do put together some really, really good music here. So how we doing?
It came back.
Are we on?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey,
Camera with the dust.
So I was just talking out of my ass for the last 2 minutes. To
See, that's what we do in live radio and
you know
TV.
what? That's how you got to roll. So, so do you want to jump in on this or
No,
no?
you got me all stressed
All right,
out
all
now.
right.
This stupid
That's okay.
camera.
How about this?
Yeah.
You just interject any thoughts you have on maybe some of these songs. And BJ, we can go. It can be a couple songs. We can go long, whatever. So,
So were these supposed to be patriotic songs, or do they just have to be any song that you would play on a 4th of July playlist?
So here's the way I thought about this. I thought I'm interpreting it as a song you would hear at a 4th of July party. Now, whether that's about America, whether that's about like rock and roll, that's, home, that's home roots are in America, whether that's about fireworks or the 4th of July or patriotism or whatever. So I'm kind of leaving it up for interpretation. Does that make sense?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Because none of mine are necessarily like patriotic.
That's
or,
okay.
like America based. I was just think, this is what I want to hear at a party.
Okay. All right. And that's good too, because you and I are like, different musical backgrounds, stuff like that. So mine is very eclectic, and mine are basically have some sort of American theme to them. So we'll just go back and forth, do a few, and then and you'll tell, you could tell me about that song or that band or whatever. So why don't you start it off? What would you hear on your playlist?
The start of my playlist. All right, so I'm going. There's sort of a theme to all these songs, and I think, looking at this now, I think every song I pick is from the same decade.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right.
This is very 80s centric playlist.
I like it.
Here. But I'm starting with Huey Lewis and the News, The Heart of Rock and Roll.
Okay. I have that on my list too. I love it.
That's a good party. It's a good party tune. Everybody likes Huey Lewis. I don't think there's, you don't hear people like it's a safe party.
It is.
It's a safe party band.
And I mean, really, Huey Lewis and the News, like, it's right there. New York, LA, Cleveland, it's all in there. And that's literally the heart of rock and roll. All right, I'm going to go with the obvious one, Born in the USA, Bruce Springsteen. A lot of people love Bruce Springsteen. A lot of people don't like Bruce Springsteen, but I don't think you can go wrong with Born in the USA with Bruce Springsteen there. Classic all-American song. You can go back to you.
All right, next up I'm going classic rock on the next one here too, and this guy has a ton of connections to this era because he played here like all the time.
Okay.
I'm doing Eddie Money, Walk on Water.
Yes. All right, Walk on Water.
Yeah, I love Eddie Money. I mean, there's a handful of Eddie Money songs you got to pick for this, but yeah, that one I think is probably that was probably my favorite of his.
Okay. Good choice. I like a little Eddie Money. Nothing wrong with that. All right, next one I'm going with. I love this guy. He's not from my era, but a little bit before my time. But I'm going with America by Neil Diamond. That's just, it's a little cheesy, but I like it. I like it. So.
Did you ever see that on a side note? Did you ever see that movie Saving Silverman?
Yes.
With
Yes.
Neil Diamond and
Yes, they're super fans.
It's a super underrated movie from like the early 90s. It came out during that whole big wave of all the goofy comedy movies that came out, but that one was really, really good.
Jack Black and the girlfriend.
Steve Zahn and Jason Biggs, I believe.
Jason
Biggs,
yep.
Amanda Peet.
Pete, yep. Great song. Great reference there. Okay. All right, so Neil Diamond, America.
All right, next up I'm going, so again, another 80s one, another feel-good one. Steve Winwood, Back in the High Life again.
Okay. Well, Steve Winwood. Yeah, that's great.
One, you know what I mean? That's good for a party.
Hell yeah. Very good. All right, I am not a big Kenny Chesney fan, but I do like several of his songs, and probably my favorite one is American Kids. So I'm going to go with American Kids by Kenny Chesney on my 4th of July playlist. All right, BJ, you're up.
All right, we're going back again. This is all from the 80s.
And tell me how deep, how many picks you want to go?
I did 7.
All right, we'll go 7 then. Okay.
So I did The Outfield, Your Love.
Okay.
Again, a great song. That band, like, I tried to find other songs by them that I liked, and there's really not that many. It's kind of their one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
They've got a couple other ones that are all right, but then you kind of delve into, you're like, I have another one-hit wonder on this list too.
Okay.
Sure.
No, that's good. That's good. Those bands need some recognition too. All right. You're probably gonna not like this pick, but I'm going with it anyway because I think it's a crowd pleaser. Whether you're a 50-year-old man or a 10-year-old little kid, I'm going with Party in the USA and Miley Cyrus. So I had to put a little cheesy pop song in there, but it kind of like it's a crowd pleaser, and so I went with that.
Was that? I'm taking it that song came out during her Disney years.
I think it's slightly after. I want to say that was about 2010, 20. I forget
that she sang that song because everything she's done has been so different since that.
Yes. It was like I think that was right in like post Disney, but pre like Wild Miley Cyrus.
I gotcha. All right, next up I'm going. So this is another definitely not a guilty pleasure, but an underrated band that you only think of for one song. So you think of the band Survivor. What song do you think of?
The Rocky song, right?
Right. I Had a Tiger. Is what everybody goes. Well, Survivor had a bunch of other hits that, like, if you hear, like, oh yeah, that's Survivor too. The one is called I Can't Hold Back.
Okay.
So Jimmy Jameson was the singer after the original guy who was on Eye of the Tiger. Actually, Jimmy Jameson came right after, but super underrated band everybody just thinks, oh, that's Eye of the Tiger band.
Yeah.
It is, but they've got another like probably 10 hits that were top 40 hits, whatever. So yeah.
BJ heavy in the 80s though.
Oh,
that's
totally.
I love it. I love it. So the 80s
had
had like the best music and the worst music at the same time.
It did.
Kind of like the yin and yang there. All right, next I got to put a classic one on here. This guy again, not a huge fan of his music, but he did put some really good music out there. Big time country star, but I'm going courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, Toby Keith. And I think that's like he was huge into like supporting the troops and all that stuff. So that song just like screams America to me. And again, not a huge Toby Keith fan, but I kind of like that song a lot. So courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, Toby Keith.
All right, so we're going this guy's for sure one hit wonder because a friend and I, we spent quite a while one night drinking on YouTube. We were watching on YouTube, trying to find another song by this guy that was like even listenable, and there really isn't.
Okay.
But you would know the song. You remember the movie St. Elmo's Fire?
I know the movie.
Do you remember the main song from that?
Oh boy.
And the guy who sang it?
Was that the song where he has it on the jukebox on his? That's not the same movie, is it? No,
that's
St. Elmo's Fire. What I'm thinking of is that like it's Rob?
That's the
Rob
Brat
Lowe?
Pack. It's a Brat Pack movie where they whatever, and it's just and the movie kind of sucks.
Okay.
To be honest, like it's
the song's called St. Elmo's Fire,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Okay, but the artist is John Parr.
Okay,
right? And this big '80s hair, whatever. But like, God, like that song. It's like, man, this song's a banger. And then you go to like every other song in his catalog. It's like, boy, like,
this guy sucks.
You go see him in concert. I just hope he plays that song like 10 times. And that's his set list. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next. So what one more time was his name? John Parr.
John Parr.
Okay. St. Elmo's Fire and that other song was called, or we're just going with that one. St. Elmo's Fire. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Next one for me. I'm going with, from your Survivor theme, I'm going to stick in the Rocky universe. And in Rocky 4, when they're lowering James Brown down pre-fight, singing Living in America. So that song's just, that was the first time I ever heard that song, was watching that movie, and it's always stuck with me ever since. He's so cocky, Apollo Creed coming down, and it's just like, again, screams America to me. So
that soundtrack to Rocky 4 might be the best. It's my best soundtrack of all time, but like start to finish, because that was also the first Rocky movie where they didn't do just all the classical music, whatever. Like he actually had bands and stuff in it. When I was in college, we did a radio show. We were on AM radio. There was a station out of Warren, a buddy of mine, and we did a whole show just dedicated to the Rocky IV soundtrack. And then, we were drafting songs that could have been like what? All right, what other songs that weren't on the Rocky IV soundtrack that could have been? And we went through a whole thing. It was ridiculous. We spent like 2 hours. People calling like, "What the hell are you guys talking about?"
I love it. And that song, Rocky IV. When I think of Rocky IV too, obviously you think of Ivan Drago and the Russia part, but I think of the montages too, and that's where a lot of the music comes in to play there. So that's a good one. Yeah,
Living in America, that's a good one for sure.
All right, you're up.
All right, I'm going with again 80s. So this is my my ultimate crush of all time, Belinda Carlisle.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
I'm doing "I Get Weak" by Belinda Carlisle.
Oh.
Like Belinda Carlisle had a bunch of good songs too, solo and obviously with the Go-Go's and stuff too. But yeah, Belinda Carlisle is always one that's like, that's a good one for a party.
Okay. Add that one to the list. I like it. All right. Next one for me. And if you're almost out of your list, I'll just do a couple honorable mentions at the end. But the next one for me is another, like, I'm not a big country fan, but like I have a lot of country songs on this list. So I'm going with Chicken Fried by Zac Brown Band. Again, it's more of a pop song than a country song. I think a lot of people know that, but there's like a really, like, thank God for the Stars and Stripes, like, thank God for the troops so we can, basically live our lives. So it's got a cool message in it with it's a good beat too. And so it's a good party song. I think, young, old, everybody can kind of appreciate that song. So Chicken Fried, Zac Brown Band for me.
I got you. Well, that was my 7 that I picked. I rattled them off, but yeah, they're I'm trying to think of other ones that are like more America based or like patriotic kind of based. Not what's coming to my.
So I have, like, I created a 4th of July playlist last year, so I had it easy, so I could just rattle off 20. But then I like went through and aggregated a few lists and came up with some of my own. But like, depending on what you like I can even go back as far as like Chuck Berry, Back in the USA. That's a great song. I mean, shit, you could put Whitney Houston's rendition of the Star Spangled Banner from Super Bowl, 25? It was during the Gulf War.
That might turn like people might look at you weird if you just play the Star Spangled
Banner. It would be weird. Yeah, on a playlist, it would be weird. So like maybe play that part if it's dark and the fireworks are going off. This one I think you'll really like here with our South Park reference earlier. But America, F yeah.
Oh yeah.
From Team America. And that is, I listened to that yesterday.
When they're just going through all this stuff about
my
America,
God.
and they're just saying, fuck yeah, we're like Taco Bell, porno.
But then they're like, Bed Bath & Beyond, books. They're like, okay, yeah. So if you don't know the song we're talking about, just go Google America, F yeah, Team America, go play it. Also, they got another song on there that's called Freedom Isn't Free. It costs $1.05. That's really, really good. Just a couple other random ones. I'm not a big John Mellencamp guy, but he's got 3 ones. Our Country, ROCK in the USA, and Pink Houses that could all probably qualify for this list. Mm-hmm. If you're into the pop stuff, Katy Perry, Firework, that's a classic one.
Yeah, we do a John Mellencamp cover every once in a while. We cover Paper and Fire.
Okay.
We just kind of because literally if you play that just on distorted guitar, it just sounds like an AC/DC song.
Yeah, that's true. No, I mean depending on your,
he went kind of bonkers crazy in the last couple of years, but
he did. But he had some good stuff again in his run in the 80s there, and like maybe even bleeding into the 90s. There's a song called "Bleed American" by not All American Rejects.
Jimmy Eat World.
Jimmy Eat World, yes. That one's a pretty good.
That is a good song.
That's some guitar riffs on there. I'm not a big Green Day guy. American Idiot, that made the list, but I would put on there like "Don't Stop Believin'," stuff like that. He's crazy, but Kanye West with there's a girl named Estelle. It's called "American Boy." That's got a pretty good beat to it.
I mean, if we're going like America,
yeah.
I mean, we just get Ted Nugent's greatest hits.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, there's nobody more pro-American than Ted Nugent.
That's a great point. Great point. So, and I got a Childish Gambino on here. I got Leonard Skinner. I got Darius Rucker. So I got a bunch of random stuff on here. I even got a Carrie Underwood, Taylor Swift, Lee Greenwood, Lenny Kravitz on here. So we'll wrap it up with that. But I thought that might be kind of fun. You'd build your own playlist over the 4th of July and let us know what you come up with. But again, 4th of July is coming up. We have 2 shows coming up before then. So this Thursday, I want to remind everyone, Vern Lundquist, one of the best broadcasters, if not the best broadcaster in all of sports history. I'd put him right up there in the top 5 of all time, will join us on Thursday. Do you have a favorite call of his?
I would say probably the the Yes Sir from the Jack Nicklaus one, because I just remember that's the first one I can remember of his so vividly, because I remember watching that tournament with my dad as I was like 5 years old. But yeah, so that'd be up there. I have a question for you, both of you guys, as far as like so you said Vern Lundquist, top 5 sports broadcasters of all time.
Yes.
Who else would you put in that top 5?
I loved Keith Jackson back in the day. I really loved Keith Jackson.
Whoa, Nelly.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we got a real humdinger, but he was just really, really great. I love Brett Musburger too. I thought he was great. I really like Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson now. And then
Gus Johnson would not be anywhere near any.
No, he's a little over the top. He's not for everybody, but I think he's pretty good. And then I love Kevin Harlan too. I think he's great. But for me, and just like my sports history soundtrack, I would have to put in Mike Breen, simply for the Kyrie Irving shot in the LeBron James block of 2016.
Who is the guy that just recently passed away, and he used to do Sunday Night Football all the time? Oh, he was really, really good. I know some terrible. I'm not going to remember his name, but he did. He just passed away. I'll have to look this up. But yeah, he.
So it wasn't Al Michaels. He's still living. Oh man, we'll think on that. Was he the main play-by-play guy?
Yeah, he wasn't like a huge marquee name, whatever. But like you heard him, you would recognize him immediately because he was on. He was on so much. But yeah, he was up there. And then obviously growing up, Madden and
John
huge ones too.
Absolutely. Joe, do you have any favorites? Like you were always you like a radio guy over TV, right? So do you have any like who's your like favorite voice to listen to? Tom Hamilton too.
Oh yeah,
Tom Hamilton.
That's the only really one I know. Jim Donovan and Tom Hamilton were my two.
Those, I mean, and you can't go wrong with either of those two. So yeah, Vern Lundquist will join us on Thursday from his home in Colorado. He's going to call in virtually. So we're looking forward to hearing him. I'm going to have a show for us next Tuesday, and then we'll get into the weeds for the 4th of July, but we will have a Jaws breakdown as well as that show. That movie just celebrated its 50th anniversary. All right, so we're going to close out there. For BJ, for Joe, I'm Justin. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow all that good stuff to Youngstown Studio, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook.